Hello and welcome to week 3, the penultimate week of the Welsh Esports League DOTA2. Are you okay there, Lud?
I was pointing out it was week 3.
You got there in the end with Suri.
Yeah.
How are you doing this week, Lud?
I'm very tired, but I'm very excited. We're getting some more homegrown dotes. You know, we're always excited to see what we're going to be seeing, and it's yeah. So we got a couple of good, hopefully mostly evenly matched games this week, really, haven't we?
Yes, we have got some pretty exciting games coming up this week. So our first game that we're going to be watching is Dragons versus the Puffins, which I'm quite looking forward to seeing the Dragons in action again. And then after that, we are going to finally get to see the Swans in action, which I've been really looking forward to seeing as well. We'll be watching them take on the Goats. So I'm really looking forward to this week. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm really excited against the Swans as well, knowing that we also have another mutual friend on the Swans, so we get to comment over their gameplay. So that's gonna be fun. So yeah, what we thinking for this first game then with the Puffins versus the Dragons? How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think that we've seen the Puffins performing really well so far this series. I'm really looking forward to getting to watch them again. Because obviously last week we watched them take on the Pirates, and the Pirates are doing very, very well in the season. But even then, there were some like really nice moments in that game where the Puffins still kind of held on and had some like pretty good positives to take away. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether they've been able to go away from that loss, learn a little bit, and what they're going to come out with this week instead. And again, the Dragons, you know, it's been a rough league for them so far. They are our lowest MMR team, which is unfortunate, but it's been really good to see them like matching up with some of these pretty superior teams just on paper. Like some of these teams, they're like immortal or divine averages. Like that's a tough team to go up against, and yet they've still come away. Like, they've come away and it's not just looked like 5 heroes who sat in Fountain for literally 20 minutes. Like, there were still good points to take from those games. There were still so many positives. And I do actually think that in the weeks, those positives have grown as time's gone on. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Dragons bring this week, and how they take these losses and what they've learnt from them as well. Because it's looked really good.
What I want them to just keep bringing the heart, and that's what I want. Even if they're not necessarily going to get the best results, it's still really important to me that they just keep trying, because the only way you get better at this game is by keeping on playing. And yeah, sometimes, much like our pubs, sometimes you're just gonna walk into a Tinker Smurf and there's very little you can do. But even in those moments, you take the fact that, okay, I'm currently getting Tinker Smurfed. What can I learn from this? Is there anything that I can do to try and, curtail this 27-0 Tinker from just blink hexing us ad infinitum? What can we do? So even if they're going up against Immortals, they might be able to take something from the replays. So that is what I want to see from them.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
just glad
not
that
about the
they're
winning.
getting stride.
Yeah, it's as you say, there are games where you know, it happens. You're gonna lose the game. You know from the start you're gonna lose the game. But it's not about the result at the end of the day. It's about the way that game impacts your perspective on the wider game of Dota, and how you can look at, even if it's just one moment, and think, you know, I can learn from that. And there are so many moments, especially when you play up against higher skilled teams, that you can take a look at the way they're moving around the map, or the way they're rotating, the way they're building, the way they're fighting. All of these different things that they're doing as part of their wider game can be such incredible learning moments, and just give you even a perspective that you'd not even thought of before. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that we've seen a lot of that progression even in just the last week. And that was only after 1 week of playing where we saw that kind of improvement. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how 2 weeks has helped these teams.
Do you know, I'm also really looking forward to? I'm looking forward to a draft, because we've got one just about to start.
Yes, we do indeed. And we are going to go straight into it. There we go. We do have it up on the screen now. Classic Dota, there we go.
We have a Firebird ban to start with, so that tells me that they're maybe not wanting to have to deal with a target that they're all having to dive on. The Dragons are straight away with the Rubik ban. They've been watching the DPC. They know how strong this hero is. Nobody wants to deal with that right now. And the Ricky ban again from the Dragons. So yeah, we can tell someone's paying attention. Someone knows that those are the strong picks.
Picking up a Nyx.
First pick, Nyx. A first picks assassin, if you will. Okay, so I'm not sure what I think of this. I think I like it. I think that the Nyx could potentially be a useful... It could be a way to maybe disincentivize the Dragons from picking that early Mirana, because we're seeing, you know, Mirana is, you know, one of the strongest heroes in the scene right now, but... Ooh,
yeah,
a Maresca Sunbreeze, a Dark Willow. Okay, so I feel like the Nyx could potentially end up exploiting this Willow, because the Nyx can quite happily walk into one of the bramble mazes with his Spiked Carapace active, so that could end up catching the Willow out a little bit, and
it could. But you have Shadow Realm, and I think that your Shadow Realm, you'll be much happier to use it freely than perhaps a Nyx will with a damage block, depending on what else you bring out. Because if you're gonna want to use that stun on a bramble, but there's a much higher damage spell that you could be saving it for, then you're always going to want to save it for that. So it just having a Willow isn't enough for a Nyx to sit back and think, yeah, this is going to be a good game. I'm a little confused by the bans from the Puffins with this idea of a first pick Nyx, because Pudge and Phoenix are both very vulnerable to this Spiked Carapace, and you can have a lot of impact with against these two heroes. So I am quite curious as to what the thought is here.
Ooh, an Ogre Magi is another option. Again, another hero that kind of has to be a little bit worried about Nyx, because the ignite could end up catching the Nyx. And again, I know what you're saying about the Nyx, not necessarily wanting to worry about it, but eventually Carapace does end up with quite a short cooldown, so it's something they do have to be worried about.
Yes,
meanwhile, the Puffins
however,
with this Underlord.
So the advantage here for Dragons is that if Nyx decides to use Carapace on Ignite, he'll only block one instance of damage. So as long as the Ogre isn't in a bad position when they get stunned, they will still do so much damage to this Nyx with Ignite that it can have a
Yeah.
huge impact.
Meanwhile, with the Puffins with the Underlord pick, I feel that Underlord, a little bit. I kind of feel that that's probably a comfort pick for Nez, as it's going to be Nez on that Pulse 3. So I feel that's probably it's probably a comfort pairing, but also the route into the stun's really good. So that's something that could be quite. That's something that we could end up seeing probably around level 4, maybe level 5, depending on how many levels in the passive the Underlord wants to take over the Firestorm. Meantime, we've got the pretty classic bans of the Lina being the strongest carry in the patch right now from the Puffins. We've got the Dragons have banned both Naga and Terrorblades. That tells me that they're concerned with the Illusion Swarm.
Yeah, it is definitely something to be a little bit cautious about, but
yeah, the Razor and the Void bans as well. Again, fairly strong cores. We're seeing a lot of Razor, both in the off lane and as a carry at the moment. So I feel maybe that's just some just taking some flexibility options away from them.
Sand King picked up as well. We saw a very successful iteration of this hero last week.
Oh yes, that was yeah. We saw the goats got a rampage at 16 minutes with the Sand King. That was that was against the Dragons. So maybe they've maybe after seeing how the Sand King was able to just run wild, maybe they've had a thought that maybe they'd like to try and see if they can get that working. It could also be a comfort pick. Could be something that
it's a very good hero.
The offlaner, yeah, it's quite strong, and it gets as long as the other team aren't too vigilant about vision. It can be quite self-sufficient as well, especially once you get that early vanguard before going for the blink. So that's something that could be quite good here. Just wondering whether this Nyx. It feels more likely that this Nyx is going to be on Pos 4, so I'm curious as to what we're going to see as the Pos 5, probably from Simon. There's still quite a few Simon classics available.
Turn to pick. Omni Knight.
Omni Knight.
Omni pick.
So that's going to be really good for the heaven. I think this is going to be largely about the Heavenly Grace. So this is going to be the Omni Knight's going to be really focused on staying, keeping distance and just trying to stick into their carry. Oh, this is likely this could either be the Demon special. Demon, I can tell you from experience, is a pretty damn good Arc Warden player, but this also still could be in the mid, and Reator's immortal, so I'm not sure what answer the Dragons are going to have to this Arc Warden. There's still scope to potentially have maybe a carry with a somewhat decent controller stun, or probably a playmaker mid potentially, but it's. Yeah, I can already see this Arc Warden being a problem if that Arc manages to get good timing on his Midas and his bots. The Sand King and the Willer are going to have to be everywhere to just keep trying to deal with the amount of pressure that this Arc is going to give.
Yeah, this is a very mobile lineup here. With your Underlord ult, with your Arc Warden, who will inevitably go for BOTs. This is a very global lineup here from the Puffins.
The Ursa from the Dragons, so they're feeling that maybe as long as the Ursa gets an okay timing on the Battle Fury and can keep the waves pushed out, we maybe get good timing on the Blink Basher, then the way that they deal with the Arc Warden is just by having this Ursa get big and strong, can just keep knocking down the double or the the actual, if Demon or Reator are feeling spicy enough to send their reel out. It's going to be really important. I feel it's going to be really important for the Dragons to get some good vision down in the up rather in the dire jungle, and see if they can shut this Arc Warden down from, if they can find the real Warden and just stop Zet from getting too farmed. I think that's from what I've seen so far, especially in the fact that they've taken on with the Sand King as well. I think actually can benefit them quite well here, because if the Sand King gets a good timing on his Vanguard and gets enough, make sure that they've got enough sentries to deward any sentries from the side of the Dire, then I feel like they can get a
this is a very interesting lineup here. I think we're going to have some really it's going to be key to see how these teams like move around each other. So the main concern I have with this Ursa is that Ursa is a hero very susceptible to being kited around, and if you've got this Omni Knight popping ult, so the Ursa does no damage, you've got this Underlord or this Arc Warden who can be quite maneuverable. You run a little bit of a risk of this Ursa kind of running into fight, being all farmed up, all ready, raring to go, and then there's no one left for him to hit, or everyone who he can hit is protected from physical damage. So it could be a bit of a frustrating game from that perspective. That's my worry here.
Yes, I feel like it's largely going to be there. It's going to be very important to shut down this Arc Warden. So they need to get.
Dire's turn to pick.
They need to be able to get the. They need to be able to make sure that the Sand King is going to be okay by himself. They need to try and make sure that enough. They've got enough space for the Ursa to be able to be somewhat self-sustainable. I mean, once he gets part of the Battle Fury, once they get the Perseverance, they're gonna be able to. What? Is this mid techies? I hope it's mid techies.
Well, I can't see a better +1 on this team than the Arc Warden. So that does leave us missing a mid. And
actually, there is another possibility. It could be a +1 Omni Knight, mid Arc Warden, and then the techies is the 5. This and other things that we will discuss later. I have so many questions. Where are we? Okay, no, it looks like it's mid techies.
Sometimes you just have to bring out the mid techies. You know, sometimes it just has to be done.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, this is
this is an interesting lineup. I'm quite excited to see how these lanes go, because although at the moment I'm favoring the strength from the Puffins, I feel like there is a lot of potential here, especially from an Ogre, very strong laner, as is a Sand King. You know, there is a lot of potential here to kind of disrupt this play style that the Puffins are clearly hoping to go for, by just just making it so this Arc Warden takes a little bit longer to get his items, get his Midas, just get in ready to be able to come in and take these fights. So it could be an interesting start to this game.
Yeah, it looks like the Puffins are already in full try-hard mode. Look at this. Look at them drawing lines on the map, looking to go for a 5-man. Oh, and they're smoking. Oh,
Although
the
they do
sweat.
have a Techie's courier following them out, so...
Look, I don't care. The level of sweat here is
They are going to
disgraceful,
break the
honestly.
smoke on the
Oh,
Nyx
they go for
here.
that.
Gonna
Oh,
get the stun onto this Tiny, gonna try and blast off on the Techies. Not quite enough damage to take him down, but a right click's gonna come through, take down this Tiny. Very nice pick up there. I'm sure they'll be quite happy with that. And the courier gets to go back unscathed.
straight in with the voice lines, straight in with the sass coming out from both sides. As long as as long as we're all happy and respectful, I'm happy with that. Let's just see what happens here with the runes. Looks like we're gonna get
a stun onto the Omni Knight here, who was perhaps a little bit ambitious trying to go for this top rune all by himself, but not going to be able to do anything else about it, so we'll just be able to pick up that third bounty rune there for the Puffins. Nice rune control.
Yeah, third and first blood. Oh, that's what you want. We're going to have the completed Wraith Band on the Arc Warden. He's already looking at starting what I would imagine might be a Falcon Blade, but that's not what really matters. I think what we need to be looking at is this mid lane here. Techies versus Tiny. What is this?
Yeah, and it is the Techies going for his Tranquil Boots first. Quite common on mid Techies now, I think. So it's,
yeah, you want the healing.
It works best when you're against a ranged, predominantly magic dealing mid, because they will never really come forward to attack you to remove the healing. But it's still really good when you're using Blast Off. So it's never a bad shout to pick up these tranks.
Good dodge on the sticky bomb there, managing to avoid taking any unnecessary damage.
Yeah, this damage control is going to be really important here in the mid lane. This Techie is going to have Avalanche up on the Tiny soon, so if he's not too careful, could get a whole wave of damage coming out from the Tiny here. But no, he's going to use it on a creep instead, so safe again for now. Just going to go and put a ward into that triangle from the Techies there.
Looking at stacking early. Interesting. Maybe thinking that, okay, maybe my lane against this Tiny is going to be quite difficult, so I just focus my energy on getting the the double stack. There we go. Very good.
That's what we wanted to see.
That's why Rieta's the immortal.
Yeah, and these tranks finished up now. He'll be able to just, keep on getting this damage in. Won't really be too bothered about taking any harass or even self damage from blast off here.
We've got the so far the other lanes seem quite even. Arc Warden's already pulling up with 7 denies in the first 2.5 minutes. 8 denies. Oh, it's almost like Demon was seeing. I was right. The Arc Warden is building that Falcon Blade to start off with, just to help the early game out.
Yeah, about 130 gold off of it now, so it won't be too far away for this. And it's such a good item when it comes to mana regen as well, so... Ursa just rushing his phase boots, which you'll definitely need as an Ursa this game. Going to be quite difficult to keep up with some of these pretty speedy heroes. So
yeah, it's going to be quite nasty. You want to be able to get away from the firestorm. You want to try and see if you can outrun the impale. There's a lot to not want to be in.
A lot of damage coming out on the Ursa in the bot lane here. Gonna, ironically, as you were speaking, get caught by impale and firestorm.
It's almost like they know we're watching.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage to this early Ursa. Obviously won't have his ult Enrage up yet, so can't really dispel or mitigate any of that damage yet, so just going to have to deal with it.
Rieta looking for another stack. Oh, did they get both? Did they get both? Oh! Ho, ho!
This is a very juicy looking ancient camp here. 4 minutes and already triple stacked. Meanwhile, top, we've got this lane's pretty far forward here for the Radiant. Looks like they're happy to just kind of push this into the Arc Warden here, which will just help him juice up a little bit, get some more gold. Finish up this Falcon Blade now and heading towards that Midas next. Got Gloves of Haste already bought, so
they need to do something about this. If this Arc Warden's allowed to get this Midas largely uncontested, it looks like not even going for brown boots, just going straight for the Midas. And if you look, this is they've got a stack here on this this side camp here, so there's already going to be a lot of oh, and yeah, look at that. Look at that. Simon contesting the pull, just stopping them from getting more control over the equilibrium there. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, and in bot, this Ursa's not quite having the same fantastic start to his lane that you'd want. Not when you're up against this Arc Warden. Just falling a little bit behind when it comes to last hits and having to go through a little bit of regen too, which is frustrating.
It's less ideal, but let's say that it's still not bad. There's still it's still over 20 last hits in 5 minutes. That's that's still really good. And just trying to make sure that Presti trying to make sure they don't miss that last hit on the flag crate. There they go. They got it. Oh lord, this is another stack happening from the techies.
This is a thick jungle here. This triangle is...
Did they get both again?
Yeah, this is a lot of creeps here now.
Yeah, this is going to be whoever ends up farming that, and I'm not sure. It could end up being the techies. It could potentially be. It could be being taken by the by the Arc Warden. Could even be the Underlord who ends up getting it to maybe get those early GG boots and be able to start rushing ahead. Meanwhile, down bottom,
go on to this Ursa here. Gonna be able to get the root, get the Firestorm down, but not quite enough to be able to take him down. So he's gonna walk back under tower. I think he doesn't have any regen though. No, and not on the courier, so gonna be a little while here with him just sitting under this tower with very little HP. Has bought a salve, but his courier's got to get all the way back to base before it can bring him up to him. Gonna be able to get this branch from his support though, so we'll get some regen coming out from this Tango here, but don't really want to be going too far forward as.
Oh, we got both.
Get the root down as well, but the Firestorm's just not going to have enough time to get some damage onto this Ursa here. He's just on the edge of this root.
Meanwhile, top, Tiny coming, rotating.
Will they be able to get anything here?
Oh,
do have a very nice ghost put down there. And yet they've got vision of him, so they know exactly what's happening here. But they're going to be able to get the kill onto this Sand King, who apparently didn't get the memo that his Tiny wasn't able to come in. And this Duck Willow is far too low to be doing anything herself as well. So looks like this Tiny is going to have to run back to mid, tail between his legs, and not really be able to do very much here. And this Arc Warden, 70 gold away from this Midas now. Gonna have 8.5 minute Midas if he's unlucky. More like an 8-10.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: as it stands at the moment, this game is going, from what I can see, better for the Dragons than some of the other games were by this point. I mean, they're currently 2k behind. Oh, the bringing of the item there to the.
The Tiny has found these stacks in the triangle though, and he's gonna farm this He's gonna farm this this medium camp here. He's quite happy to take this stack for himself. The Techies has taken the ancient stack, so he's also quite content here. But I mean, as a Tiny, are you gonna turn down free farm?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that they had they've only just planted that ward. Oh, that's devastating. So okay, yeah, the techies got more from the ancients, but at least the tiny was still able to get some constellation farm because the techies
And
did
the
spend a good
tiny,
bit of their time
the tiny
making
is
that.
he's gonna take this this jungle rotation, and he's gonna move down into bot lane too, see if he can help out this Ursa. Have popped the Carapace on the Nyx, but a bit too early. Just gonna be able to take this Nyx down with the Ursa. Only need right clicks. Very nice.
Really close from Nez on the Pit of Malice. Oh.
Yeah, she wanted to cancel that TP, but not gonna be enough. So this time he's just gonna head back to mid. Techie's gonna try and blast off in here. Doesn't really have the mana to do anything else, so just gonna walk back away.
I'm surprised by the miss on the sticky bomb there from the.
Oh, they're going to catch Ogre out bot. They're going to come in and be able to get this this stun here, but Ogre's just going to walk into the trees. His Earth is going to be able to protect the Ogre pretty well. Just going to say, no, not my support.
I'm kind of in two minds about whether or not I think that this Nyx has gone in the right direction by maxing out the Impale first. I think it might have been a good idea to have maybe an extra value point in the Carapace, just because this Ursa is going to be able to go on the Nyx with a little bit more frequency, since it's not up as long. But meanwhile, I'm really happy to see the Dragons really holding their own a lot more in this game. It's good to see progress.
Yeah, definitely. This is it's a pretty decent start here. I mean, we've got this Ursa finished up his phase boots now. I'm going to be going for this defusal next, which I think is definitely needed. You know, we said that this was a pretty fast team, so being able to just kind of force these heroes to slow down a bit, stay more on your speed, and just be able to keep up with them will be hugely helpful here. And he's already most of the way through it as well. Got about 900 gold left before he's able to get to this defusal. Gonna try and root and stun this Ursa down bot. Oh, that very nice proc there from the break. Gonna take off so much damage, but bring out the enrage, so we'll just be able to live, and he'll get salved by the Ogre too. Good support duties. Be able to save that Ursa for now, and he'll just keep farming. Get these items.
The Arc Warden does. Did see that that's the second use on the Midas from the main, and we're about to see.
Oh, gonna go again on this Ursa bot. The root, get the stun in, and it's gonna be enough. Firestorm coming out, and there's no running out of that. And they're gonna be able to get a kill up on the Sand King top as well. Some very important kills here. Just being able to shut down the Sand King and make it so that he doesn't quite have the ability to move about as much as the Sand Kings we've seen in previous games is incredible. It's a great way to play this from the Puffins.
Tiny does have the blink, although they do have the sentry here. Yeah, they think they see something. Oh! Tiny going in.
Yeah, he's going to blink in onto this Arc Warden here, but unfortunately most of the damage is coming out on the clone here. He's going to get stunned up and not be able to do anything. Sand King ult will come in, but it's not enough to take down the Nyx, and only able to pick up the Arc Warden clone, and so Sand King's just going to have to turn and run. Yeah, ghosted down. This Arc Warden wants to keep going, get another ghost down. Not going to be enough. Willow's getting a lot of damage here, but she's going to be taken down by one of these ghosts. Another kill picked up from the Arc Warden here. Just exactly the position you want to be in if you've got a carry Arc Warden on your team. Look at this, he's already halfway to... Actually, no! He's 30 gold away from a Maelstrom.
There it is. Maelstrom's already done. And here come the bots, and that's, as I said earlier on, Kit, that's where the real trouble is going to begin. Meanwhile, quietly farming happily. Oh, wow, I missed that entirely. They managed to get the Arc Warden.
Yeah, this is the one disadvantage there to sitting around in top quite low HP, is if this time he decides that he wants to come for you, he will. And with this blink, there's not a huge deal you can do to stop this this level of damage coming out.
Yeah. There is,
I do have for more. They're going to dive into the tower here for this Omni Knight. Nice brambles coming out there, but tiny blink in, and it's just going to demolish that Omni Knight.
should look to their top
It's good. They're getting some good
They've
opportunities so
this,
far.
They've spied out this clone coming in as well, so they're going to want to take down this Dark Warden here. Get a little bit more gold for the pot, and they want to go for this tower as well.
Cheeky 180 gold.
Getting an early kill on these tier 1 towers is so important. Techies is going to come in, to be able to blast off, get so much damage here onto this Tiny, and the E-Blade already finished up will take the Tiny down quite easily, and Willow's got absolutely nothing she can do. She's going to get taken down too, and the Sankey's dusted! He's going to try and ult. Desperate. Oh no, the Carapace coming out is going to stun him up from the Sandstorm damage. He's not going to be able to get the ult off. He's not going to be able to get a kill, and they have traded 3 for nothing.
Meanwhile, Demon happily farming down mid. The thing I was going to say earlier on, before the fighting just wouldn't stop, is throughout all of that, the techies was just happily farming their E-Blade. So now they've got that. Next on the agenda is the Shard, and they're going to have that in less than 100 gold, and you're going to have a big old AoE 1.5 second stun. You can cast from downtown. It's going to be really, really tough for the dragons to deal with all the different levels of control they're going to have.
Yeah, and the dragons have now just had to give up on their top push. They know that it's just a bit too risky now. 3 of them died. The tower's only half HP. It's not even like they can easily go and get it. But the Snake's going to be spotted out by the Tiny, chucked up into the air. They get the Avalanche out as well, but be able to pop the ult and get away on 150 HP. Ooh. But now they know that there's vision there, so don't think that trick's going to work out for them a second time.
Yeah, the Nick's getting thrown into the air and taking a lot of damage, but you know what Chuck Yeager said, any landing you walk away from is a good one.
They have spied out this Techie's top with the Sand King, but the Shard's already come out. You'll be able to get the Ghost Scepter on too. So much damage coming out, and the Nyx will be able to pick up the kill. Techies doesn't even want to stick around to get that kill. He happily going to give that to his Nyx there.
Well, cool guys don't look at explosions, so yeah, that's just happy with the damage, knowing that the Nyx is going to be able to finish it off there with the mana burn.
Yeah, Rieta knows that this Sand King is dead, so there's no point in him sticking around.
It's just little efficiencies. That's what happens when you become immortal. You can know the limit.
Oh no, the Sand King's TP'd back in, and he's just gonna go straight for the kill, diving under tower. Gonna get the E-Blade in, but can't be saved a little bit by this Sandstorm. Don't stick around too long though. No. Gonna be able to get the bomb on, but it's not enough. Gonna be able to. Oh, it's gonna.
Oh, look at that! Just managed to just be out of the route there. Oh.
Ooh, this is a dangerous game up top here, and this Techies wants this tower, gonna get it. Does now have a lack of mana, so gonna have to go back to base, but not gonna be too much of a problem. Meanwhile, the Puffins, they want to push down bot here, going for this tower. Half HP at the moment, and Nez obviously quite easily able to push this creep wave in here, so we'll keep doing that.
Yeah, the Rogros there has got the Vanguard.
They're gonna rotate the Tiny down bot though, and Ned's kind of alone, so this Tiny's just gonna be able to get in there. Chuck up into the air, gonna get the stun out too. Root comes out, but there is no saving her. So much damage coming out from the dragons here. But the Techies,
no!
Techies gonna jump in, get the E-Blade in, and this Ursa has got no hope of doing anything. Already used Enrage, so it's just death.
That's a rough trade. That's
That is not the trade you want to be making.
Saying that though, the Ursa was still able to get a little bit of the gold from the Underlord. They actually get slightly more for the Underlord. I think that's the comeback mechanics coming into play. This Techies is...
Ogre might be in a little bit of trouble here. She's trying to defend this tower, but Blastoff is going to miss. Still going to be able to get the the E-Blade onto her though, and with all the stuns, gonna be able to get this kill. Oh no, the Ursa's coming now as well. Slowed, rooted, everything is going on here. Gonna be able to get the Enrage off, but this is 4 heroes against a single Ursa here. The stun's coming out, another bomb. Oh, desperately trying to get away. But Techie's just gonna be able to get this Sand King ult. We'll be able to take down this Nyx, but whilst this was happening, the Arc Warden was able to take down the Tiny, so he's not coming in. Dark Willow's taken out, and it's just this Sand King left now in bot lane with 3 enemy heroes here, including a Techies. He's gonna get sticky bombed here. Not gonna do very much because the Sand King does have a Hood of Defiance up now, but blink away from that sticky bomb as well. But he's walked right into the Omni Knight here. I think they're gonna let him live, just because they don't have a way to catch him at this point in time.
Meanwhile, the Arc Warden got her possibly one of the best items you could have got on the level 2 there with the Van Brace. So they're just going to be right clicking even more with that attack speed, and just going to be able to just farm like nobody's business.
And he's got the Rod of Atos finished up now. It's not going to be long before we've got a Gleipnir out onto this Arc Warden, and after
50
that,
gold.
These fights are very, very easy for them to execute.
Yeah, at this point, we are coming to that point where I'm not entirely sure what the Dragons do to get back into it. They probably need to spend more time looking for this Arc Warden, but they they've not been able to get enough of the early towers, so that it's harder for them to go and invade and look for Zet, really. So Demon just happily, pressing R, pressing Midas, TPing away, having the main just farm in the safety of the jungle. It's just not really a tremendous amount you can do. I mean, the Arc Warden's eventually going to get to the point where you're going to start sending heroes against the clone, and the clone is going to start killing you. So
well, that's the Gleipnir out, and he's now going for his Ag Scepter. And Nez on the Underlord, only about 1,000 gold away from Greaves at this point as well. This is going to be a very tanky, very, very high damage lineup. And once these items are finished up, I don't know if there's anything to do except just run at the dragons here, because you don't really need much more on your Arc Warden.
The 5-person smoke from the Radiant down in their jungle, that wasn't under any vision, but the Puffins are going to be wondering what's going on here, especially if the
will detonate a bomb coming up into the triangle as well. So going to be able to put a ghost down into the triangle too. We'll see that it's procced as well, so they know exactly where they are, and the fact that they can't see them means that they probably know they're smoked too. So
gold and sweet.
Yeah, that's going to feel bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything with this. So just going back into their jungle, they knew they had to do something, so the smoke was a good idea. But unfortunately, when you're up against the Techies, it's very difficult. And speaking of Techies, he is just going to take down this Ursa. Going to get tossed up by the Tiny. So much damage coming out here. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get rooted by the Dark Willow, so we will get stunned in place there. And they'll be able to get the additional damage needed there. 8 kill streak. Ooh.
Yes, Sheepo, we will hold hands with you. In the meantime, there's a little bit of a sad thing that the kill went on to the Omni Knight there, but it does, the Ogre Magi, but at least it means that the silver lining to that is that does mean that Ogre does now have the Force Staff, so it's now going to be a little bit easier to maybe save some of the heroes from the burst damage of the Techies and from the control from the Arc Warden. So you would have rather it gone on the Tiny, but there is an upside to the Ogre being one to get the kill there.
Yeah, and this Tiny is building his Ags at the moment as well. About halfway through, but I think holding out for a buyback, so not buying out at the moment, which I think is a good idea when you've got an Arc Warden in the game. These buybacks are very important.
With all the control that the Puffins have, I think I would much rather be seeing a BKB from this Tiny at this stage, just because with the exception of Omni Knight,
Oh, I don't
every
think
one of
they
these
know
heroes have
Natekis
always
is
control.
here. He's gonna miss the blast off, but gonna be able to get the E-blade down. We'll walk up onto this triangle here. I think he's just gonna be able to walk away, even though they are gonna try and chase him. Putting the ward out, very nice, to be able to see from both angles when he's being pursued. But I don't think they know where he's gone. We'll be able to get one of their wards, but I don't think the dragons have any idea that this Techies is sitting behind their T2.
And you know who is loving all of this?
Arc Warden?
Demon on that Arc Warden. Absolutely. He's just loving it like this, because he could just send the clone out with impunity. He's
Techies is on the move.
Oh.
Techies is on the move. He's going on for this Ursa. Gonna get the stun out. Gonna get the E-blade and the sticky bomb. It does so much damage.
Bad.
They are going to be able to spot the Nyx out, getting so much damage here on from this Tiny. And they're going to get the sinking ult coming out into the middle here, but it's just not enough damage. There is so much sustain coming out here from the side of the Puffins.
And that's the value of the Omni Knight kit.
Oh, very nice Klepner there, but it is only going to catch one hero. Oh, nice Techies blast off. Going to be able to catch this Ogre, and I think the sticky bomb should see him off. Yes, it will. Meanwhile, this Tiny is in far too deep here. Going to be rooted and spotted out by the Arc Warden and taken down. And meanwhile, Arc Warden is just pushing this tower. Has caught a Dark Willow with the Glepner here, but not going to be able to do enough damage, so she'll be able to walk away. Clone will die, but that's okay. I think they're going to be able to take the tower anyway.
Yeah, it's just
Clutch 45.
Again at this point there's exactly everything I said was going to happen. This Arc Warden was able to get the items and get huge. The Omni Knight was in a really good position just to always make sure to get the Heavenly Grace out when needed, and there's just very little that the dragons can do at this stage.
Oh, and a DD just outside the Roche pit.
Oh.
I don't think they mind if they do.
Exactly. Like, they thought that this... I don't know who you give this to, honestly. There's this part of me that thinks you give that to the Arc Warden just to make it even harder, but...
Yeah, you definitely give that to the Arc Warden.
Hey, we can see you.
If they're not going to kill you once, they're definitely not going to kill you twice.
It's a small part of why I kind of hoped they'd rather give
nice
it to the
long-range Techies blast off there.
Yep.
Going to be able to get so much damage onto this Ogre Magi, helped by the E-Blade, and take him down. Kill going to this Arc Warden. What do you do against an Arc Warden that's had a chance to farm up everything he wants?
Invest in a time machine. Go back to about 6 minutes into the game and just gank them mercilessly and try and disincentivize them from buying Midas, I guess. Short of that, bluntly not really sure. This Ursa is close to the BKB. Oh, down bottom.
There was no helping that Tiny there, was there? And this Ursa's going to keep trying to go for the Techies. We'll be able to pick up the kill, which is nice. But at the loss of your Tiny, who is dealing so much damage in these fights, and is probably one of the main reasons you've been able to pick up these kills.
And the loss of the tier 2 top on top of that. Demon is just loving the amount of space that the Puffins are giving. It's just masterful, honestly. This isn't necessarily a case of the dragons playing bad. This is the Puffins playing really well, understanding their timings and just exploiting them to the best of their ability. You know, this Techies was given a chance to thrive early on and get these big items and get the E-Blade to be able to nuke people down. And then by the time you've tried to deal with the Techies, you've got an Arc Warden who is almost got their Octarine core.
Yeah.
Good lord.
It's not an easy game, and I think one of the biggest takeaways to just show exactly how well this Arc Warden is doing is not the net worth difference between him and the Ursa, but the net worth difference between him and the techies. The techies who stacked Ancients at literally the first opportunity he could. The techies who has done incredibly well in this game is still 5,000 gold behind this Arc Warden. And this is a techies who's had a great game. And yet he can't keep up with this Arc Warden. Oh no, and this Arc Warden might be able to pick up another kill here because they've got the route onto the Sand King here, trying to get the stun. Gonna be able to blink in with this stun here with the ult, but it's not gonna do anywhere near enough damage. And the Greaves coming out from Nez means they will be able to survive this. Meanwhile, Techies is actually killed in mid lane while this bot fight's going on.
Yeah, the placement of that Pit of Malice from Nez there, just absolutely beautiful. Knows that that's where the Sand King is going to be wanting to jump from. Just thinks, nope, just doesn't let it happen.
Yeah, it was very nicely played there, and the fact that she had Greaves at the end of it as well, just to... Tiny's going to try and blink in here, see if he can get any kills, but all of this damage is just not really doing anything to the side of the Puffins. To be taken down here, and so will the Ursa as well. They've both tried to blink in to see if they can make anything happen here. Dark Willow desperately trying to get this ult off, but gonna die before she's able to. She does have buyback, but her two cores don't, and now her Ogre and her Sand King kind of don't really know what to do here except watch the Puffins take the base. And who can blame them? This Arc Warden is absurd.
And that jump where we just saw the Tiny jump in and just get controlled and die, that is exactly why I said that I would have wanted to see a BKB rather than the Ags, because the Ags, when you're not stood next to these trees down here, isn't really getting you that much because there's no trees to throw.
Yeah.
There's no trees to throw right by here, but there's plenty here. So
the other problem,
I feel like it was...
The other problem with the Ags is when you have the Ags, you tend to not want to be in the fight. You want to be at the back of the fight, throwing trees in.
Exactly.
Which is great if you have other people who can be these frontliners. We will see this Tiny try and jump back in, but this Techie's going to jump the back line. You'll be able to pick up the kill onto the Dark Willow. Tiny's going to go down as well, but Ursa has his BKB up. Going to be able to get a kill onto the Omni Knight. Techie's is jumping back in though. So much damage coming out. Going to E-Blade himself this time for safety, but be able to take down this Sand King as well. And the Ursa just has to turn and run at this stage. Doesn't have ult up for 30 seconds. BKB's on cooldown.
And in that fight, we actually just saw the other reason why I really didn't want to see the Ags from the Tiny. And that was Omni Knight. Omni Knight got the...
We're going to get a double kill onto the Ursa and the Ogre. Ogre's going to try and buy back because I think at this stage you kind of have to, or this Arc Warden is just going to take your base. But I'm not really sure what the Ogre's going to try and do. Going to get this Dark Willow stun ult off to try and keep them off the racks. But this Techies has no fear in jumping in, and it's a pretty dangerous place to be for your two supports, because between this Techies just leaping onto your backline and this Arc Warden who just outputs so much damage, you know, this Ags with the ghosts that just follow you, the Octarine, the Glepnir.
It's about to get worse as well, Kit. It's about to get worse because look what the Techies has just got.
Oh no, the Tiny's tried to throw some trees in, but he's been spotted out and being Glepnired up here, and they're just gonna walk at him and take him down. Sand King desperately trying to blink away and just gonna get taken down as well. Nice blinking from Nyx, trying to go onto this Dark Willow. Easily able to pick up the kill onto the Arc Warden. This BKB desperately trying to do anything, but the bubble coming out, saving Ness there. Just no damage coming out from this Ursa because he was stood on the outside of it, and that's Megas.
Yeah, this is a the stop there from the Nyx. didn't even let the Sand King get the ult off there for posterity, and that's the GG.
Yeah. Good game, well played indeed. That was...
Look at that sportspersonship. Look at that sportspersonship coming from both of them, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, that was a game. That was an incredible game, but it was just proof that when you let an Arc Warden do what an Arc Warden wants to do, things probably aren't going to work out too well for you.
Yeah, as I said, when I saw the Arc Warden picked, there was part of me thinking, I hope that it's Demon playing this, because again, I know that he's a good Arc Warden player, and just he showed that. He he showed that and how, but
oh, he sure did.
The really good play from all of the Puffins there. I was really impressed with Simon's positioning on the Omni Knight. Just always being in a good position to make sure that anybody that got gone on with what little control the Dragons did have, that the Omni Knight was just there with a heavenly grace and just able to keep the kill count low on the side of the Dragons. But I suppose the real story there is that Techie's mid, that Techie's was just able to do mostly what he wanted in the early game, getting those early stacks off and still being able to not necessarily keep entirely up with the Tiny, but be quite close to.
Yeah.
Just really good timing from Creator there. It's I was really impressed by that in particular.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look over at the Dragons as well, this Tiny actually had a pretty good start to the game as well. Like,
yeah,
I know that some of the fights towards the end looked a little bit dicey, but it is an unfortunate side effect of fighting against an Arc Warden Techies without BKB. You know, it's going to be a tough fight. You know that it's going to be a tough fight. It's not going to look clean because there is just so many different ways of being controlled, and it is unfortunate that there was no BKB and no time to get a BKB either. So those end fights were a bit rough, but I mean, if we take a look at some of these damage numbers, got 22k damage coming out from the Tiny. That's incredible. Like, that's a lot of damage there. And yeah, okay, it didn't translate into kills, but we've already pointed out that a lot of that can be attributed to just excellent plays coming out from the side of the Puffins. This Omni Knight being there to save people. These Greaves from Nez, meaning that all of this damage, she could just do so much healing, as could the Omni Knight. They could just prevent physical damage with the Omni Knight ult as well. This E-Blade, huge help as well. You know, there's just so much here from the Puffins that everything the Dragons did, they just had an answer to. And it was really well played by them.
I think one of the key real other key moments for me as well in the early game was that moment when Tiny wanted to go and rotate up top to try and get a gank on the Arc Warden, but the vision from the vision that was placed down, I imagine that was by Simon, the ward spot just above their cliff, meant that they saw the Tiny coming, and that's why Demon was able to place the Spark Wraiths down and just deter the Tiny from actually committing and being able to get that early on kill. Like, that vision really made a world of difference. It was in particular really impressed by both of the supports there. The Banza on that Nyx and Simon on the Omni Knight. That being said, like, there's decisions made by the Dragons that kind of undermine their game. So Tiny could have even broken down that Echo Saber to get that BKB a little bit faster, as well as going for that rather than going down the route of getting the Ags. But even in those moments, even with a team that are massively ahead, they were still able to get some. We were still able to get some occasional good pickoffs, even if they had to trade heroes for it. They were still able to. They were still able to bloody the Puffins' noses a little bit. So, if nothing else, they should take away that they also held out in this game. I feel like they held out in this game better than they did in the other times that we've seen them. So honestly, they should be proud of themselves for that at least, and they should also be really proud of themselves for the continued. They're just class acts, and the sports personship is continuing. And I don't know about you, but I'm in particular really happy with that.
Yeah, and I think that it was good to see some of the ways that both teams have kind of progressed from their starting points here. And I think if we'd watched this game 2 weeks ago and then also seen it played now, I think the two games would have looked entirely different, because the teams themselves look like different sides. They don't make some of the mistakes that they were making when they started out, and I think that's one of the things that I'm most pleased to see, is that now that they've had some time to play together and kind of build on how each member fits into the team, some of these games, yeah, they're tough. Of course they're tough, but there are points in them that look really clean because you've just got that practice now. And that's something that I'm really impressed with. And it's something that you'll always be able to work on, but also be able to sit back and think, yeah, that worked pretty well. And you can be really proud of it too, which is great. I'm very impressed. But I think for now, we should probably leave these two teams to their next match, and we should take a look at ours. So we will take a very short break and then bring you the next game in the series, which will be the Goats versus the Swans.
That's something I'm really looking forward to.
game in our third and penultimate week of the Dota 2 League. How are you doing, Lude? Have you recovered from the game we just watched?
I've recovered from the game we just watched, but I'm still reeling a little bit from a discovery we made
Yes.
about the Swans.
Yes. So I spotted a tweet put out by the Swans earlier today mentioning a certain Team Liquid coach, Blitz Dota, who had been helping out the team, and I reached out to one of our mutual friends on this team and asked for a little bit of clarification. And I've heard that they've had a little bit of some extra special help when it comes to having some coaching sessions, which is very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third place. The person who helped PMA Team Liquid to an incredible third place run at the most recent at TI11. You say, yeah, that's a pretty remarkable grab.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part about this is that it's a little team in the Dota 2 Welsh Esports League that's getting this help.
Yeah, and that makes me feel really good. Not just about it makes me feel really good that such big talent are reaching out to little engines that could, and that just that makes me. I already have a lot of time from what I've seen of William Blitzley, but knowing that he's taking his time to help out a team from a little league like this just makes me really happy, and it makes me feel really good about the it reminds you of there is some inherent goodness in the Dota scene, and there's also there's going to be room for growth in this little league that we have here. So that just makes me that's really made my day.
That man is truly one of the greatest in our time. What an incredible person. But we will have to see how this translates to how the Swans play. Now, obviously, we on stream have not watched them play beforehand, so we can't compare before to after. But it makes me even more excited that we're finally going to get to see this team in action. And I think that we are almost ready to get underway. Is there anything that you are particularly looking forward to, Lude?
I'm excited. So, Peachy Bell has been in the middle of making a cosplay for Hoodwink. So naturally, I want to see Peachy getting into character there.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see a Hoodwink pick. I want to see if maybe the goats will be able to finally get their legendary Fleur Marana. The other thing I'm excited for is my man Ash. He's back. He's back on the Steam Deck. I still can't get over that.
Is there anything this man will not do to play Dota on a Monday night?
Apparently not. No, considering how much of an ask it was to get the man to play Dota at all, the jump in the level of commitment is something I'm here for.
It's
the real.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. I was actually quite impressed by how well it seemed to go for him last week as well. That was definitely not the first time he'd played Dota on that Steam Deck.
The real question is how many RuneScape windows. Oh my lord, he actually has RuneScape windows going.
Oh god.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
no.
last week was definitely not the first time Ash had played Dota on a Steam Deck.
Of
It
course
can't
not.
have been. It could not have been. It went far too well for it being the first time.
Man played on a Steam controller when they first came out.
Of course he did. I can believe that.
Yeah. Looks like we're just getting ready to get in now. So well, there we are. Looks like here we are. So we got ourselves a draft.
We do.
So-
Now, what kind of things would you like to see either coming out or being banned in this draft then, Lude?
I want to see. I either want to see Mirana or Ricky. I don't want both because Mirana Ricky is not okay. It is not okay.
Mm-hmm. Tell me why.
Because at level 15, Ricky Maru, the stealth assassin, gets access to his shard, which gives us Sleeping Dart. And let me tell you from first-hand experience, at level 15, Ricky needs brown boots, a stick, and shard, and nothing else. You're online. It's really just not okay. And the Swans are speaking my language because they're clearly not wanting to deal with that invisible little satyr running around and making everyone go to sleep.
Well, it's worse than level 15. It's minute 15. He
Well,
can have the
minute 15,
worst.
I say level. Oh,
He can have the
Oh.
worst game imaginable and be level 6 at minute 15, and yet still he rides.
I have recently had a bad game where I was only just level 6 at minute 15 when I bought Shard and immediately started snowballing. So yeah, can confirm. The goats banning the Razor, just again, another flexible, versatile hero that they just don't seem to want to have anything to do with.
Yeah, it's a very popular hero at the moment as well, this Razor, isn't it?
And Fleur's Tampin, the Mirana's been taken away again. So in before Dazzle pick. Dazzle, maybe an AA, who knows?
You can't ban all of the heroes this woman wants to play.
The real danger, however, is the Swans have not banned the techies, and it is Ash drafting. So the ban of the axe, that could potentially be taking comfort away from the offlaner from the Swans, potentially. I've not really seen much of axe doing much good right now. In fact, the axe being banned also tells me that it could be a Dazzle. That could be another good reason.
Could be. She does like her Dazzle, does our Fleur, so
does enjoy a cheeky Shadow Priest. The other flavor, another one of the big flavor heroes there, the Roof Trellin there on the Treant Protector. This Treant is honestly just such a nightmare. The amount of sustain you get from the Leech Seed and the Living Armor, just really make it difficult to get good trades. And on the side of the goats there, with that Treant Protector being able to help tank people up, they're thinking about that first pick. They're just debating: do we go for the techies or do we jump in for that Dazzle? And if that's not the conversation, then I will eat my hat. And I have a hat here that I could eat.
Oh, please no. That hat could be used for much better things.
Indeed. It's not even mine. I think my spouse would kill me.
Definitely don't do it that then.
Really burning into their early pick time here. Oh!
There it is.
It's like you knew.
We knew it was coming.
It's like you knew. The question here now is, do they think about getting one of their earlier cores just so they can have some ambiguity as to what's going on in their lanes, or if they end up going for their support right away, could end up really revealing a lot about what could potentially be coming from this. And we don't know exactly where the coaching is coming from Blitz, so for all we know, there could be some. I actually don't think there is any. I don't think there actually is any participation for anyone else in the chat, but they could be thinking about that. Oh, the techies!
They were making this debate over which one to pick, and they just picked them both.
It's almost like I know these people. Meanwhile, the Lena from the Lena Treant Protector is, if they're laning together, that is going to be an utter nightmare for the goats to deal with, because again, this Treant's going to be trading really well with the Leech Seed and with the Living Armor. This Lena, it's quite common nowadays for Lena to just take 1 point in the stun and just max out that Fiery Soul. And in some cases, for example, if they're against Rubik, sometimes they don't even bother taking a point past the first two in the levels and just go stats, because this Lina right clicks so fierce. Like, if you told me a year ago the Lina was going to be primarily played as a carry and was going to be focusing much more on their fiery soul, I'd have said I love it, but I don't believe you. But here we are.
So one of the best things about Lena at the moment is that you have to have a very complicated answer to a Lena in order to counter her. It's not as simple as, say, with a Dazzle, where you see a Dazzle picked, you pick an axe. Or, you know, these strong heroes with auras where you pick breaks. You have to have something to protect you against this burst damage, which obviously comes out thick and fast with Alina, with all of her spells, which can do an absurd amount of damage. And then you also have to have something that deals with her incredibly fast and potentially very deadly right clicks as well.
She does everything. She pushes creeps, she farms, she has AoE, she has single target damage. The only thing I'd say that Lina doesn't necessarily do tremendously well is that she's not massively tanky, and even then, if she's getting good stuns off, doesn't matter because you're dead. That's it. Good night.
And
so it's a hero that I don't really know what the answer, if there is a single answer to Lina. I think you hit the nail on the head there with it. There's a number of things you've got to do. Meanwhile, the goats targeting Peachy, not letting Peachy roleplay the hoodwink. I'm very disappointed.
Yes, it's not to be, not this game.
Sad times.
Are there any heroes you'd particularly like to see paired up with this Dazzle techies? Potentially heroes that could help deal with this Lina?
I think they need a hero that's... I think they're going to need a hero that's got gap close. I think if you can catch the Lina off guard, maybe with a basher, maybe get enough damage on her before she gets the stun, or even if you can catch the Lina while she's farming and some of her spells are on cooldown, I think that might be one of the better options. In terms of even something like a Slark, who could potentially, with good timing, dark packed off the the stun as it comes, and maybe be able to shroud to avoid the or shadow dance to avoid the big bursts from the Laguna Blades. The Swans are clearly thinking about heroes that jump, because they've taken away the Urso, who can build a blink and a basher. The Tusk, who's got the snowball, the shards, and the quite often will go the mid build, which does involve usually getting like a blink or a shadow blade, and the jump from the Bat Rider. So it feels like the Swans are kind of thinking about the same thing I'm thinking about, with the wanting to avoid heroes that would jump to try and get the Lina. Even with that in mind, the Swans still have one of their supports to get, so they could easily end up going for like an Abaddon, or we saw it earlier, the Omni Knight. Meanwhile, they go for the Sand King as a potential jump. See, I do like that as a potential way to be able to get onto the back line and onto the Lina. Whether it will be enough, who knows?
I think one of the things with the Swans here, and it's something we spoke about a lot in earlier weeks, is that yes, this Lina is probably in a core position, but if they see any heroes coming out on the side of the goats that they decide they don't want to play her in up against, they could easily move this to a support position, or vice versa. She could be picked up now as a support, knowing that this could potentially be their mid pick later on, and they have however many phases to I can't count, so I'm not even going to try to figure out exactly where they want to play this. It's just a good early pickup because you have lots of flexibility here. Now a Brood, okay, slightly less flexibility there.
Spider Lady. Okay, so yeah, that means that I mean, to a certain extent, the Sand King is if the Sand King is able to get a cheeky right click and a stun on some of the spiders, they're going to get a lot of the they're going to get quite a big explosion from the caustic.
Oh yeah, caustic
But this
will
broodmother,
hurt.
if this broodmother is given even slightly a chance, they can end up just quite easily taking over that lane. And we've got the sister there. We've got Lena and Riley. So we've got the sisters of hot and cold.
It's not often you see both sisters picked up in the same team.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I quite like it. I actually think that they're actually, if they could even be a good laning duo now. We could consider Lena's largely played as a carry, because you've got the slow from the Crystal Maiden, you've got the root, so there's going to be a lot of setup to be able to land these big LSAs and getting the stuff. The tiny from the goat. So again, two heroes that are going to be able to be focused on getting jumps off. So I think that is largely the direction that the goats are going in. Even the jump from the techies, to come to think of it, with the
10 seconds.
ability to cross big distances and get those good initiations off, especially once techies get that shard.
Yeah, this is it's a good go on you lineup here from the goats, isn't it? Like lots of control, lots of jump in, because these are heroes that want blink daggers or have ways to make their own initiation, such as with this stun from the Sand King or the jump from the techies. And then your Dazzle just wants to sit on the back line anyway, so Dazzle's more than happy to not have that maneuverability.
I mean, even then, once we get to minute 15, with the Dazzle will be able to get that Hex, and I can tell you, that's an item timing that Fleur in particular really prioritizes. The Swans clearly not happy with the idea of a Slark, quite possibly for what I was saying earlier on, so they choose to get rid of that in the last phase there. Not sure at this stage. It feels very much like it's a mid that the Swans need, and a carry that the goats are looking for. So quite clearly targeting the last bands for heroes. They just don't want to see any of, especially considering that the Swans have to think about the goats having the last pick. Pardon me, I just being really careful about what that last thing's going to be. Just make sure there's not really any gotcha options.
Yeah, because there is still a lot of potential, even with just one pick, to completely upend a draft and the entire way you think your opponent is going to be playing this game.
Wonder if we could see a Terror Blade from the goat. That could, again, trying to worrying about the Naga. If they're concerned about illusions, that could be something. I'm not sure how much I'd like, considering that the Lena has a lot of focus on right click. Terrorblade has an ungodly amount of armor, so it could be something I'm thinking of. I think I'd prefer it over maybe a PL. There's also the option maybe for if they want to go again big on the jump. There's also always the option to go for a Sven potentially, especially with the cleave to deal with the spiders.
Yeah, spiders really don't like being played against as Sven, but I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that Sven is the pick. Terrorblade is a potential,
about the Warcry as well,
but I worry that there's a lot of damage here, and especially with the silence now coming out, and Broodmother will also want to pick up a silence too, most likely. You kind of have a little bit of vulnerability there until the BKB is finished, so it's a bit of a spooky game for a Terrorblade. Not unplayable, but it depends on what your comfort levels are here. If it's a hero you're comfortable with and you know how to play it quite well, then you're more than happy to take less comfortable and easy games. But if it's not, then you kind of want to stick to something you know a bit better.
Oh, so there's a carry Tiny and a mid Zeus then, which
will also deal with these spiderlings quite well. Once you have your shard, especially, and you never lose tree, you have your cleave. You have Avalanche. You have a lot of damage that comes out to clear these spiders. Zeus has a lot of damage to clear spiders. Sand King has a lot of damage to clear spiders, as does Techies. And I mean, I suppose so does Dazzle too with Poison Touch and Shadow Wave. So it's quite a nice way to deal there.
Good bit of disengage and slow as well from the Zeus with that heavenly jump. That ability's, as someone who plays a lot of Zeus and is thankful that it exists, that ability is stupid.
It's busted, yeah.
It's really stupid. It shouldn't be a thing.
It's only minorly saved by the fact that if you're jumping from a standstill, you don't go anywhere. But even then, it's not much of a save.
I feel like this brood is going to be really important on the timing, for timings wise. I think the most important timing is probably going to be this brood getting those Greaves online, because once they've got that, the amount coupled with the amount of sustain that they're going to get from the Treant Protector, and also Death Prophet's own sustain from with the Spirit Siphons, I think once they've got those Greaves online, it's going to be really difficult for the the burst from the goats. But if they can do something to prevent it getting to that point, I feel that's going to be the best odds they have here. But at the same time, even if they think about shutting that down, they've got Alina to think about, and if that Lina is able to get, you know, her first couple of big items, once she gets the
30 seconds and
Falcon Blade, the bots, and the Maelstrom, she's just going to be able to be everywhere farming constantly. It's just going to be really hard to shut down.
Yeah, this is it's going to be an interesting game here. I'm looking forward to seeing how these lanes go for them, because there is a potential to have quite a bit of game impact here in quite early levels. We'll just kind of like dance around each other here in the Radiant Jungle, but Bounty will ultimately be picked up there by the Tiny, so
Even split.
we'll do a 2 for 2.
Even split, and we've got the expected matchup there of the Death Prophet versus the Zeus. I feel like this is a lane that really can go either way. It's one of those things where, as a Zeus, you can't do a tremendous amount to stop the Death Prophet from farming. You do have a little bit of a right click advantage, but the big burst from that Crypt Swarm, I'd say it's much easier to get a lot out of that than it is for the early jumps in the early levels of the Lightning, I'd say.
Yeah, it's you farm, both of these heroes can farm pretty fast, but it's quite mana intensive for all of them.
Yeah.
So this rune control is going to be really important in the early levels, this mid lane. I'm going to take a jump over the river on the Zeus here, just to get a little bit more damage onto the Death Prophet, but she'll Crypt Swarm you right back, so...
Yeah, the heavenly jump's really good for, especially when you want to try and deny your range creep, because you can slow the cast animations and the attack speed slow. It's can be really obnoxious to lane against. Again, just a stupid ability, and I'm very thankful that it exists until I'm laning against it, and then I'm sad. Meanwhile, down up top, we've got the Sand King and the Dazzle versus the Treant and the Lina. So it's currently looking like it's largely going in the favor of the goats.
And
like
this is,
every
of
lane
course,
is gonna
our
bring up
legendary Sand King as well. Let's not forget. Our 16-minute rampage Sand King. Looks like this Dazzle wants to be a little bit aggressive here, but Flair's going to get caught out. She's going to get slowed by the Treant, and then nice Lina stun set up there and taken down. Went a little bit too far in there.
Yeah, that's good catch there, good punish there.
And they're going to get a stun onto the Sand King as well, and this slow's going to come out. Going to be a little bit difficult, but the Dazzle's back up. Going to get the heal on. Right clicks do so much damage early level, though. Oh, it's painful. get caught by the by the Q as well. We'll get salved up, so should be okay. I don't think they'll have much left to expend on the dire side either, so should be able to go back to just even laning here.
Meanwhile, if we look mid, this Zeus is really doing the business against this this Death Prophet. The Death Prophet's 6-0, so the Zeus is 20-8. You know, more denies than the Death Prophet has last hits, and that must be rough.
Yeah, well, the Death Prophet has made a wise decision to go for a bottle, but it does mean that she's had to skip on the null, so the Crypt Swarm damage is lacking a little bit, at least in comparison with the Zeus's Arc Lightning damage. At least damage per mana, that is. So
yes.
A bottle definitely needed in this lane, because the rune control is extremely important with this matchup. But, tough. Meanwhile, bot Tiny's taking a lot of damage here. Gonna be able to chase off the Broodmother with some bombs, but it's a low Tiny here, which is a little bit spooky around a Broodmother.
The Lena's already got the completed Falcon Blade, almost got the early boots of speed, so she's feeling quite set up for the lane. Oh, there we go. The switching of the Iron Branches out before using the bottle. Oh, I love it. The kind of thing I live for when I play mid. Just the little efficiencies.
Yeah, it's quite an even laning phase so far. We're seeing these carries do pretty well on both sides here. We'll see the Tiny frozen up by the Dire Tier 1 tower, but Techie's bombs will be able to get him safely away. Meanwhile, up top, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Looks like the Sand is in a little bit of trouble. The Lina wants to try and chase here to get this kill. Just gonna miss there.
However, if you look, the Treant Protector
able to go down there to Fleur. Taking a lot of damage just from Lina right clicks here. She might be in a bit of trouble, but no, Lina's gonna play it a bit safe. Not go too far. She's gonna get 2 more right clicks onto the Sand King though, both of them very low in this lane. Gonna be a little bit of a difficult one for them here, if they are not too careful.
Peachy doing the Lord's work there and stealing the bounty rune from the side of the Radiant there. That's you know.
It's your job as POS4.
Yeah. Been playing a lot of POS4 myself recently, and that tends to be the thing I think about most. I want that gold.
Looks like they're going to try and go onto the Tiny here on this bot lane. Going to get the freeze under the tower, and the Broodmother really wants to dive. Will get thrown up into the air, and it looks like she might die for it, but no, she's got a stick. She's going to pop it. Sorry, it's a full-blown wand. Going to be able to keep herself alive there with that wand, and a salve coming out there too. Nice support work from Peachy. Meanwhile, up top, they're able to get another kill onto the Sand King here. This Lina is going to be very happy with this start to the game.
And they were able to see that the Dazzle had rotated to try and secure the rune for the Zeus. So seeing that, they knew that this Sand King was going to be on his lonesome. So they just knew they could punish it. Meanwhile, on bottom.
Oh gosh, this is just a lane of complete fighting here, bot. They really want to go for this Tiny, but moved away from
everywhere.
Top, and
Can't keep up.
Fleur goes down. You have to be very careful against this Lina now. As you say, she does have a Falcon Blade. She is pretty ready to fight at this stage. Is lacking a bit of mana now, so it looks like she might have to back it out a little bit. But this is a very, very strong start to her laning phase. And they're able to get the kill down onto the Techie spot.
Dire's courier has been killed.
We'll get an avalanche out here to try and stop this Brood just running straight at the tower, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough here. Oh, meanwhile, up top again, and this Sand King is a little bit isolated. Looks like the Lina wants to try and cut him off from his escape, and yep, she's going to be able to do it.
Yep,
get the stun there. I don't think she's got enough mana. She does have mana for Dragon Slave, but I'm going to pop it. I don't think she's convinced she can hit it on both, so... she is
Look at she keeps
here.
taking the damage from the Fleur, but manages to get the vision away.
Yeah, she's just able to move away. Gonna be living armored up as well, just to help her survive here. And she does, of course, have a wand as well, so we'll be able to pop that. But she's already got half of her maelstrom completed. She's only about 1,000 gold away from it now.
Well, look at this.
Get poison touch on though. Stun coming out, and Zeus ult. Very nice. That is a fantastic kill pick up there for the goats. You'll be very happy with using Zeus ult for that. Meanwhile, down bot, the Brood looks like she wants to try and go onto this Tiny again. Gonna try and use Avalanche to chase her off. Techie's is in position to get this bomb on. They're going to be able to get the kill onto this Treant now that we've looked down bot, but...
It's like they know. It's like they know that we're looking at something else, and they're just like...
They just want T-Tors. T-Tors everywhere.
Exactly.
They want to keep going for this Tiny, though. Gonna get the root under the tower. Gonna throw this Brood Mother to try and get her off the scent, but it's not enough. Techies will be able to get a kill onto the CM, but Ash might be in a little bit of trouble here. Trying to get the bomb, but running around this tower, desperately trying to get this Brood Mother off his back, but she does not want to be denied. She's desperately going for that kill and going to be able to pick it up, and more spiders. Got poison touch on her though, so in a little bit of not quite ready to fight at the moment. Losing a lot of her spiderlings there as well. Meanwhile, up top, they're going for the Sand King yet again. Lena's searching for him in the tree. He's going to be able to cut off by the Treant. Ult coming out, able to pick up that kill. Gonna go to the Treant instead of the Lena, which is perhaps slightly better, but still not where you really want to be. And they're going to try and push that tower as well, so... Meanwhile, Brood's just continuing to just run at people here. It's
and look at the item that's coming. Look at the item that's on the way for this Brood. We already
oh no, Peachy might have been caught out here, but they're going to go for this Dazzle on the Brood. We'll be able to pick up the kill, but Peachy will go down on the CM. Gonna miss the Techies blast off there. Gosh, just gonna run this Techies down. I think Spiderlings will be able to get the kill. Yeah. Pick up that kill for the Brood Mother there. Tiny, I think he's just gonna have to try and back it out here now, because I'm not sure if there's anything you can do. Meanwhile, up top, this Sand King's trying to go for the ult, see if he can get a kill here, but this Nina's just doing so much damage. Not even able to get this.
However, if you look at this, the Zeus.
Oh, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough here. Yes, the Arc Lightning will come out and be able to pick up the return kill onto this Treant. Gonna try and chase down this Lena, but I'm not sure if that's what you want to be doing. It's gonna be cut off here by the Death Prophet as well. This Zeus is in trouble, trying to jump away here. Yeah, Spirit Siphoned. Trying to get some more damage here onto these two heroes, but Lena is doing so much damage. She pops the wand, gonna be able to survive. Dazzle's looking a little bit low. Will heal up, turning it onto the Death Prophet, getting the stun out. Techie's bomb lands, and they look like they're gonna be able to take her down. Zeus ult comes out again. Very nice kill pick up there. But they do now have 3 heroes up in this top lane. And this bot tower is not going to be lasting very much longer.
And they do still have the ult on the Zeus there. It was the lightning bolt that got killed a moment ago. So they've got they do still have the potential to get the big team fight ult coming in just a moment. But it's...
This Sand King looks like he wants to... see if he can pick up some of these spiderlings, but Brood's gonna micro them away. Does not want to get those, get Caustic Finale anywhere near those babies.
I feel like if... Nah, never mind.
Yeah, in mids, there were lots of heroes hanging around this Zeus who's not particularly IHP, so, could have been in a little bit of trouble, but...
Very good restraint from the Zeus. If I was in their position and I saw that the Lena was at that health, I would be heavenly jumping, lightning bolting, and ulting. But it had the wherewithal to realize that they couldn't see some of the other heroes, and he was right to, because if he had gone for it, then that Crystal Maiden would have been right there with the root and the punish. So good restraint there from the Zeus, I'd say. Back at this Brood, the Brood has almost got those Guardian Greaves. So that timing I was talking about, once that's online, I'm not really sure what you do to stop this Brood from just taking over this lane, even more than they already have.
Yeah, unfortunately with a Brood Mother, if you put any kind of pressure anywhere else on the map, like these 3 heroes up top, you run the risk of losing your tower. They are going to try and get the stun onto this Death Prophet, but she's going to Spirit Siphon up this Tiny and just keep walking under the tower. Gonna miss the sticky bomb, but there is a Zeus here as well.
Oh.
So much damage coming out onto this Death Prophet, and the ult comes out to finish off that kill. Peachy has rotated in, but she is now alone.
Regeneration.
Still surrounded by 4 heroes, and this Zeus wants to die for this kill. He is going straight behind this tower. Gonna get the lightning bolt here, and the ult's coming out, but the techies blast off. Very nicely held there. Gonna be able to cancel up that ult and pick up the kill. And this should be a pretty free tier 1 tower up here for them now.
Yeah, they've done quite well to it. It was quite early on where the Swans had the 2k lead, but they have managed to do quite well in sort of stemming the bleeding and sort of keeping it around that point. However, they do have a problem in that this Lina is now.
This Brood is not very high HP, and he desperately wants to get this kill, but he's been spotted out by the Lina. She's dusted him into the Sandstorm as well, so she's able to pick up this kill. And they have 3 heroes bot now, so it looks like they're going to start wanting to push this tier 2.
Again, that timing that I was talking about with the Lina, the bots, Falcon Blade, Maelstrom, just able to just start TPing everywhere around the map and just taking over the game. Combine that with a Brood Mother who has basically got the Greaves en route, from what I can tell.
So
yeah,
Lina was already in the vicinity. She didn't even have to TP in. It was just that they didn't have vision of her. And this Dazzle could be in a little bit of trouble here because he's going to be able to get slowed, get Lina stunned as well, and the Spiderlings are just going to take him down for good. Gonna get the Greaves delivered onto the Broodmother. Gonna look to back it up here on the side of the Swans. I don't think they want to risk anything unnecessarily, but they do have 4 heroes down in the vicinity. Looks like both teams are just gonna back it up a little bit. Meanwhile, mid, we've got this Tiny trying to push in the lane. Looked like Peachy wanted to try and freeze him there, but not quite quick off the mark enough, so he'll live
Tiny,
for now.
Tiny almost got
but he is going to walk almost straight into this Lina. Try and get the stun, but I'm not sure if you really want to be doing this, Tiny. Missed the stun on the Lina, so it looks like they're going to, once again, just back it out from both teams. But Zeus has spotted out the vision. Will deward it. Brave.
Yeah, this.
And the Sand King spotted out the Broodmother in the trees here. Will get the stun in, but it's only going to be on Spiderlings. Able to take those down pretty easily, so Brood will have to farm back up her Spiderlings if she wants to use them, but
just thinking about the obnoxiousness of it, even when the Greaves are down, there's a Treant Protector, just living armor, lol. And you know, this Death Prophet doesn't have to worry.
Stun onto this Broodmother here, and Techies is in the vicinity as well. Silence coming out, but Brood is just able to run her way into these webs. Coming through the trees, will walk straight back into Fleur, but no, another web coming out, and she'll just keep walking away.
And that's almost the Hood of Defiance already on this Broodmother. So one of the biggest concerns being the magic damage already going to be mitigated, and then once that pipe's online, then if you look at how much of their damage, the damage on the goats is magical, the only real physical damage that they've got is the Tiny, and even a lot of the Tiny's damage is going to be magical. So once that pipe's online, I really don't know what the goats do. It's just so much of them is just going to be mitigated, especially if they end up grouping around this Brood.
Yeah, this is a very heavy magic lineup.
Yeah.
Most of their burst is all magic damage. We're going to see a smoke coming out from the side of the Swans. Looks like they're going to see if they can get a kill here. Going to walk straight into the Zeus on the side of Peachy. She's going to freeze him, get enough time for a Techie's blast off coming in, getting the stun through, but the Overgrowth's going to come out. Going to toss him up into the air, see if they can get him onto Peachy. Very nicely killed there.
That was a fantastic jump.
Just trying to chase down this this Treant. The slow will come out. The Hex. That's an easy kill there for the side of the goats. And they're even able to farm and neutralize him while they're at it. Meanwhile, Brood, she's in a little bit of trouble here. She's going to get jumped by the Sand King again. Ult is coming out, but I don't think he can chase her. Throwing the Techies on top of her. That'll definitely do it.
Fantastic fight from the goats there. really doing a lot to still get a lot of damage off onto the Swans heroes while they can. Meanwhile, however, they do have to consider that was all 5 of them, and meanwhile, Lena's just having the time of her life farming the dire jungle.
Yeah, and she is just TPing her way around this map. Most of the way towards a BKB now, only about 50 gold off. And look at she does slice through these ancients quite quickly. Do quite a lot of damage back to her in return, but she's definitely not a slow farmer here.
Got a cheeky little bit of life steal from the possessed mask there, and good bit of it's just, the BKB is now on the way out, so now that that's online, looking for that Gleipnir, and once that's the amount of control that they're going to have is just going to be really difficult to overcome. Meanwhile, the goats are still in this game. They have managed to keep that net worth lead quite low, so they are still in this game, and they can't be counted out entirely at all.
Definitely not. It is a very close game at the moment as well. Yes, this Lena is topping the net worth, but it doesn't take too many fights to turn in your favor before you can start to claw this back into your hands. And if they're able to keep getting these kills and these easy pickoffs on the cores of the Swans, there is, there's still a huge potential to win this game. God, these spiderlings do so much damage from the Broodmother, though.
That's the hex from the Tazzle.
Yeah, the Broodmother is so fast, and the Lena's already here to try and come in. Gonna get the Grave off onto the Dazzle, but they're just gonna keep chasing down to be able to get the kill onto this Dazzle, and then follow it up with the original kill they went for, the one onto the Sand King. It definitely isn't looking as hot for the goats this time. This Broodmother just melts through towers, especially when combined with the Lena as well. They will be able to pick up a kill on the Death Prophet with the Zeusol, which I'm sure is greatly appreciated in this position.
Yeah, that E-Blade plus static field plus all of Zeus's nukes, a cheeky 8% of your current health on top of every spell and right click it's probably one of my favorite shards in the game. The amount of damage you can put out with it is just absurd.
Yeah, and they're going to try and push this mid-tier 1 here on the side of the goats. Just slowly chipping away at these towers. Apart from the Tiny, they don't really have that great tower takers this game. But I suppose the Tiny does more than make up for that, because he can do a lot of building damage here.
So we're able to get the courier there on the for the Broodmother's turn on the Zeus, but I wonder if that means that they've noticed that they're aware that he does now have that pipe on the Brood. It's going to be really difficult to kill Spider Lady now.
Yeah, these spiderlings, they're doing so much damage already, and yes, the team does have some ways to counter them, but add in a pipe, add in Greaves, and it gets a lot more difficult to kill off these tiny little spider children.
Yeah, spider babies are just gonna end up taking all over this bottom now, and I don't know necessarily how much of an answer the goats have for it at this point. I mean, Ash has planted some mines there as a deterrent, but the creep wave's just gonna mitigate that.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, the longer that these heroes spend out of their base doing anything other than running after this Broodmother, the more chance she has to just build up this army, take these towers, and they're going to be able to pick up this kill onto Fleur as well, and they're going to go for a return kill onto the CM, going to be able to pick it up from the Tiny there, but the Overgrowth's going to come out, room in place, leave him exactly where the Lina needs him to be. She'll get nuked down by this Sand King, though. Pretty sure the Zeus ult helped a lot there. Pick up another kill onto this Treant. But the Broodmother, she's in play. She's going to try and chase down this Sand King. Oh, lots of damage coming out here onto the Death Prophet, though, but Spirit Siphon, such a good spell. Gonna be able to keep her alive for now, but she's still very low. Might be in a little bit of trouble here, and Zeus, yeah, he's gonna leap after her and take that kill. And Broodmother, she is gonna take back to her home, back to bot lane.
I mean, if you look, the net worth, it really is going down. Like they got a 2k net worth, 2k gold swing on the side of the goats there. So again, they are, even though there's these big timings on the Swans, they're doing really well in working around that. I mean, the Sand King's got a pipe of their own, so they're able to do a lot to mitigate against the sort of the magical damage from the Lina, from basically everybody except the Broodmother, and even Broodmother has a magical nuke. So it's they have done really well in adjusting to some of these big timings on the side of the Swans. So I'm really impressed with them here.
Yeah, this is a very even game. The only problem with this game is that the Broodmother will just keep pushing towers. She will just keep making this game more and more in the Swans' favor, just by the sheer means of taking objectives. And it's a very even game, and that means that a lot can happen. Oh, Zeus is going to get caught out mid, going to get glide mid, but there is a Force Staff on him now, so he was able to make his way outside of that Lina stun. And try and E-Blader here, but BKB is going to come out and he's going to have to turn and run away. Not going to have any saves here for this second Gleipnir, but there is a Dazzle Grave that will come out just in time. This time he's going to chase after this Lina here, desperately trying to pick up the kill, but she's living! She's been living armored, and they've got the Peachy ult coming out too as well. And I think the Ghosts just have to turn and run here. They've got nothing else left to give. Zeus is so low, and they've got everyone they need mid here on the side of the Swans. Desperately trying to chase after this Dazzle, who's going to get slowed. Will get E-Bladed in an attempt to save, but nice Grave. Just able to get that out in time. Fantastic taking stun, and the Sand King comes in, gets a kill picked up there, but it's gonna be 2 for the side of the Goats there, but it looks like this Zeus might be finally going down. He's gonna be able to walk away there. So much damage coming out here. Nice stun from the Sand King. Going to be able to take down this Treant as well, but the Lina, she's back! She's ready to go for more. She's going to Gleipnir. Looks like they's just going to melt through a lot of this Sand King's HP, but I don't think they've got vision. I don't think they can see him to keep this killing spree going.
It's the amount of team play and the amount of saves from both sides. You know, you had the living armor, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Force Staff on the the Glimmer Clape from the Crystal Maiden. Then you have the God tier save from the Grave on the Dazzle, and the keeping the using of the E-Blade earlier on in that fight. The E-Blade was used on the Sand King to keep him alive. Meanwhile, back speaking of the Sand King.
Yeah, it does look like they're not going to be quite able to pick up this kill onto the Broodmother. We'll try and chase after her for a little bit, but she is just so slippery. You know, these webs giving free pathing, extra movement speed. It's hard to keep this Broodmother pinned down. We'll try and do it with a Dazzle Hex there. Melt through a lot of the Spidlings with some Zeus damage, but she doesn't really seem to care. She's going to pop the pipe. Farm up some more Spiderlings too, and just stick around in this mid lane.
Oh, Hex on the way now for this Lina, so they're going to have even more control, and it's going to be really important to get that early control on the Dazzle and potentially the Zeus with that E-Blade. They're just going to have even more ways of initiating and more control. I wonder what this Broodmother's going for. It looks like Broodmother might be looking at Broodmother's almost got the Ag, so that's going to be the Spinner Snare coming online, and that means that they're going to have even more control. 'Cause, you know, you get rooted, so you get revealed in fog.
You get revealed from smoke as well. There is no way of tripping the Spinner Snare and not revealing exactly who's there and how many of you there are.
That's going to be really annoying to deal with. There's just even more control over this bottom. I mean, at this point, they're really going to be wanting to look to maybe go upwards towards and sort of take the rest of the outer towers, and then start maybe shifting their control to being able to take Roche more freely.
So this is a perfect Spinner Snare game because they have this perfect control over the jungle, and they just make it even harder for any of this Radiant heroes to have any kind of just presence in this jungle. So you're just removing an entire area of farm. Meanwhile, mids, they're going to be able to take down this Dazzle in an attempt to go on the Death Prophet. She's getting quite low, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get her down. Overgrowth coming out onto the Sand King. This Zeus is so low, he's going to get chased down by the leader, and they really want this Sand King. He's going to ult, but it's not going to save him.
We're now at the point in the game where the lead's really starting to peel out ahead on the side of the Swans. That coaching paying dividends, it seems.
Yeah, and they are just gonna push straight through for this tier 2, trying their absolute best to get this tower down. Didn't quite have the creeps at the moment, but it won't be that long, I don't think.
Especially with this Lina.
They've caught the Dazzle in the Spinner Snare. They're going to be able to take down this Flirt. Unless she does get a very nice grave off, but there's just so much damage from this Lina now. And here are the creeps. They will fortify just to keep this alive a little bit longer. You know, give these heroes a bit of a chance to respawn. You know, we've got the Sand King up now. Techies is in position.
Middle tower has fallen.
But that's a tier 2 down for the Swans. They'll be very happy with another tier 2 to their belt. This leader, she spots that the Tiny is trying to split push, and she TPs straight out and goes for this kill on him.
Once again, seeing the Tiny hasn't broken down the Saber to try and get that BKB. It could have been done, you know, if they'd have done that, they would have actually had the BKB and they might have been able to escape there potentially. But it's really difficult. You do still want to keep that damage, especially when you've got that shard. You want to sort of maximize your tree grab smacks.
Oh,
it's
Rude looks like she wants to try and go onto this Zeus bot, but she has got a Spinner Snare down. It looks like Dazzle just gonna retreat in time to avoid being caught by that. But Zeus is gonna walk straight up onto this high ground, and he's gonna get stopped by this snare. Doesn't look like there is enough of a presence here to really have an impact, but I guess that's a snare down. Meanwhile, Sand King sitting up top, trying to sandstorm this tower. It has been dusted, so could be in a little bit of a vulnerable position. Gonna get a stun onto this leader. Tiny's gonna blink in. So much damage coming out. BKB is out here now as well. We're gonna get the peachy ult coming through. This CM is doing so much. Gonna get it cancelled. Not enough to do any real killing damage, but will buy her Lina time to escape. She is not looking very healthy at this point in time, but instantly having to TP back home with some of these heroes as well, because Brood is just pushing on your tier 3s. Techies is going to walk into the Spinner Snare, so that will no longer be active, but this Brood doesn't look like she's got any sign of stopping. She's just putting these snares out every every couple of meters here.
Just another what do, really, isn't it? You're kind of at that point where, you know, Spider Lady has 3,000 gold and hasn't spent for a while. I'm not really sure what you get next. Could potentially be another Hex. Maybe could go smaller and maybe get the Orchid. Maybe go for.
Sand King is going to jump onto the Broodmother in bot lane, but the pipe's going to come out, and I think she's just going to be able to walk away. He will get snared up, so she knows where he is. But I don't think she's got vision to break through the sandstorm.
Meanwhile, if you look, the Lena is, 8k ahead of the nearest competitor, who is the Brood Mother. So it's, again, just peeling away massively, and has that Hex now, and looking to upgrade that.
And the
That
Lena
Blink
spotted
Dagger
the
to a
dazzle
Swiftly.
here, and she's just
Oh.
gonna run straight for him. Sanking Stun's gonna come up a little bit short. Don't think she's got vision to pursue him
Oh.
through the sandstorm. Tiny's gonna come out. BKB is coming out, so this Techies won't do anything, and she's just gonna turn and fight. E-Blade's gonna come and stop this Tiny from going down immediately, and the Broodmother's here as well. Techies has taken so much damage, and this CM's here as well. She's got a shard now. She's gonna run in, try and get some assists here. Gonna be taken down by the Zeus ult, but that Zeus is not gonna survive. So much right-click damage coming out from this Lena at this point. She is unstoppable. What do you do? And she's found the Tiny up top too. She's gonna blink to avoid the stun him with her own, and she's gonna take him down. And they've got vision in mid lane now, so this Sand King, this Sandstorm's not gonna save him. Grave though, now that will stun away, be able to get a hex onto these core heroes as well from the dazzle, but they're both going to walk straight into the spinner snare, which leaves them a little bit vulnerable. Luckily, the Lena wants to regen a little bit of her own, so she won't be diving in for this. But this Death Prophet is just taking the racks in bot lane. Got our exorcism out, which it has finished now. Lena's gonna jump in, gonna Gleipnir onto both of these heroes here. Will get stunned by the Techies, but looks like she still wants to keep trying to pursue this. I don't think they've got vision for the Sand King here, so she's gonna turn her attentions to the tower instead. But this is a tough situation to be in.
Meanwhile, this Treant Protector is just knows what needs to happen, just endlessly using living armor on this Lena, just focusing on keeping her.
We'll get the Hex in on the Broodmother here, but she really wants to go for the Sand King. He's going to get the stun onto the Treant. Going to try and get the ult off as well. So much damage coming out here. We might actually see the Treant being in a problem here. Yep, going to get taken out by the Sand King. And they're going to get the Broodmother as well. Nice Grave coming out onto the Sand King here, who will be able to stun away. And he's not going to risk walking out. He's going to TP back to Fountain. Hex onto the... a pick up onto the Leader as well. She's just going to TP back in though. She's going to buy back, TP back in and take down this Tiny. She's going to Hex him, ult him, and he's dead. Sand King's going to jump in, going to get the stun. I don't think Lena has BKB up, not for another minute, but I don't think she wants it. She's going to get this stun on, try and get a lot of damage on, but there's heals coming out here, and the Tiny's brought back too. That's another kill onto the Lena, a dieback. She is not up for another 2 minutes.
Just really, really love the team fighting here from both the teams there. The really cheeky of the Lena to buy back and fort the creep so that she could definitely get back in and kill on that Tiny. But I think at that point, I think they did still need to respect the possibility that the rest of the goats could still have had what they need. Oh, indeed, what they did end up having to be able to come back in on that.
And the goats are absolutely correct here. This is your chance to go for a Roche. You don't have the main hero on the Swan side up and ready to contest this, so it is the perfect time to go for this objective.
Yeah, I think that they do have a slight problem and they do this quite slowly. They won't necessarily be back in time for the Lena to be able to stop it, but they're still outnumbered in fight by everyone else. Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, the Sandstorm has a very distinctive pattern, so it's quite easy to suss out here. Gonna have to BKB on the Tiny, but will obviously still get overgrowth. Gonna throw the Sand King in, who will Sandstorm on top of the Treant. Gonna get the E-Blade in from the Zeus too, but so much damage wasn't quite enough to take him down until that final right click there from the Sand King. And the Roche is so low that they might as well just finish it off, which they will, and pick up the Aegis on the Tiny.
Yeah, I mean they're managing to stay in this game, and this is, I'm really happy with how close this match has been compared to some of the other games we've seen. The goats doing really well to fight back despite the quite a substantial advantage from the side of the Swans here. This Lena now being level 27, so she's now at the point where, you know, she's starting to get the talents that she missed out on originally, and just.
I think the that fight with the Lena was a classic example of why you always have to play quite cautiously and never outstay your welcome. You know, she could have just taken the death and respawned and they could have gone again, but no, she decided to buy back and come in to try and kill this Tiny, and it worked, but she didn't count on him having a buyback of his own or the goats being able to respond and take her down for a second time. If she had, then we might not see this kind of a situation at the moment.
The pick off on the Death Prophet up top, yeah. This there is one thing that I can say in Lena's favor, being that the buyback is on cooldown for as long as it is that she might feel less inhibited about going and picking up that Swift Blink. Whereas if you still have your buyback and you have a couple of fights go badly, you would be tempted.
Speaking of Lena, she's going to use that blink straight away. She's going to go in onto this Techies and able to take him down. Tiny's going to come back. BKB is coming out on both sides here. Lena's just going to, I think, close her eyes and walk away. Assisted by her team here. But there's Sand King. He wants to go onto the Broodmother. Going to jump in. Going to get the Sandstorm. Desperately trying to take down, but this Broodmother is just not taking any damage. Graves coming out, but Overgrowth's come out too, and they're going to be able to pick up this kill onto the Sand King. Gonna have to toss this Dazzle back, but the Techies, he's jumping in, and he's going to die for it. Broodmother is unstoppable. They will be able to take down Peachy, and the E-Blade will stop this Tiny dying for now, but he does have Aegis. Going to be able to get the kill onto this Treant, and this Broodmother is looking a little bit low now, so she might actually be in a bit of danger, but these webs are coming in so handy. She's able to catch the Tiny in the spinner snare there, just to ensure that he can't chase her. Buyback will come out on both Techies and the Sand King, so they're going to back it out. Not exactly the healthiest on the side of the Dire at the moment.
Yeah, this is the amount of sustain that they have on the side of the Swans is sort of why they're able to stay in for as long as they are and just keep going. The Treant Protector, even with like the pickup of the Holy Locket, I think it's one of the only heroes where a Holy Locket is actually worth it, because you just get so much value out of that living armor. Just even from the aura as well, it's just really difficult to keep them away from their base.
Yeah, it's a very good item. At least in the right hands. If you pick it up on some heroes, it feels very underwhelming.
Yeah. The going for the Ags on the Sand King, so the massive increase to the range of the.
Oh, they are going to go for the smoke on the side of the goats, but they're going to walk straight into a spinner snare, which will alert the Swans to the fact that these three are smoked up. Now, whether they actually respond to this knowledge is another thing, but smoke and walk straight into the jungle. Looks like they've caught a CM, but oh yeah, a lightning bolt there from the Zeus is going to come out and be able to pick up that vision there. Did try and Glimmer Cape away, which was a cute play, but not enough.
Dire's middle tower is under
attack. Yeah, even without even with losing the vision, the amount of magic resistance you get while you're Glimmer Cape, she was able to mitigate a lot of the damage from that tiny stun there, but they just were able to outlast it and just burst her down. Meanwhile, down mid.
So this is a very difficult situation for the goats to be in. They don't look like they want to try and go onto this Broodmother, so she is going to have to BKB, but so's the Tiny. He does have Aegis for another 22 seconds. Going to be able to take down the Sand King because this Lena is just a machine. She's going to blink looking for these supports. Nearly gets the kill onto the Techies, but it's not quite enough damage. And I think the Broodmother is having to admit that she might not be able to take down the Tiny either. Especially not with Aegis expiring in 2 seconds. And yet he will get healed to full. We'll pop the Spinner Snare in base there, so won't be able to use that for vision later on. But That was a very unfortunate timing there, or rather, very well pushed by the Swans, because they knew that this Tiny wanted to do something with the remaining time left on the Aegis, and so they got this Broodmother to just push in through the bot lane and start taking these towers in the mid lane, which meant that they had to abandon their mid lane push as well.
The double damage on the Lina, so you could be using that to go in and try and get it. Oh, there we go. Looks like
as if she wasn't scary enough.
Yeah, look at that. Plus 396 damage. That's necessary, isn't it? Good lord.
She is smoked up on this Lina
here. I think she's gonna get the jump on the Dazzle, maybe.
She's gonna Gleipnir in, and she's just gonna walk in. We'll get a lot of damage coming out here on the side of the goats, so might have to back it up a little bit to see if they can regen. This Broodmother is very low, as is the Lina. Nice Hex coming out, BKB coming out on the Broodmother, and she really wants to chase down this Dazzle. He's going to be able to force step away. BKB coming out from the tiny air, and he's trying to go for this Lina. Not quite enough damage. They will be able to pick up a kill onto the Treant, so that's a lot of their sustain gone. This Sand King's trying to TP in, see if he can take this Broodmother down, and be able to get the stun, and that's it. She's down. But while that's happening, they're able to take the mid-racks.
The exorcism there from the Death Prophet doing the work there.
That was a fight that entirely did not contain that Death Prophet and the CM. They were 3v5ing.
No, you never want to be in that position, really, when you're only just surviving well out of a fight, and almost half the team wasn't even there. We've got the Timeless Relic there picked up on the Tiny, so I imagine that's going to be going straight into the Zeus's hands, I would hope.
Yes, it definitely will be.
Here we go, yep. So
he is building towards an Aeon disc on the Zeus, which I think will help, but it's still a little bit off. Oh no, it's actually there now. They have found this Death Prophet. She will BKB, but there's so much damage coming out from that Tiny there. He's got the Ags as well. He's desperately trying to get a kill here. We'll pick up the Treant, which is not what they were going for, but I'm sure they'll be quite happy with nonetheless. Get stunned up by the Lina, but they don't want to go on it. They're just going to back it out and let this Death Prophet regen, and they can take this fight another time. Or the Lina could TP bot.
Yeah, I think she wants to see who comes to push out.
And it's a techie. She's going to jump straight on him and take that man down. Hexed, blinked on, nowhere to go.
I think most people will be happy to see a techies die on stream. That's something we can all enjoy living vicariously through there, I'd say.
This is a monster of a Lina at this stage. She's got Daedalus, she's got Swift Blink, she's got a Hex, she's got a Ninja Gear.
She's going for the Ag's Blessing.
She's got BOT2s.
Flame cloak. Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I think at this point you wait until I suppose they're only on Roche 2, and they don't necessarily want to wait that
and
much
Roche
longer.
is up.
Yeah.
But she knows the Sand King's here. Gonna look to see if she can blink in and get a Dragon Slave on him, but she misses, so we'll just walk away with the speedy little legs that she's got, even though she doesn't use them.
And now she's at level 30, so Laguna Blade cooldown down by 25 seconds, and it goes through BKB and does peer damage. Oh, this Tiny has a lot to be afraid of. I mean, it does have a lot of health, but that Laguna Blade does. God, at this point does 900 pure damage. That's.
Although this Tiny as well is also quite formidable. He's got Ags. He's got a Daedalus of his own. BKB. Echo Saber, blink.
Yeah, he's almost got that overwhelming blink, which means that when he does the big jump in, he's going to have quite a.
He's trying to get it now.
Burst damage from there.
He's trying to get this courier past the Broodmother, but she's not letting it through.
Well, yeah, if you can see that.
He's gonna try the other way. He's gonna try through the trees. She knows. She knows. Oh, she's not going for it. She's not going for it.
Oh, the illusion.
Oh,
the tension.
Courier
the tension. What?
No, that
there's
courier's
no
safe.
go for it.
That courier's fine and well. But
However,
while we were following the courier, they were able to take Roche on the...
we knew what was happening there. Like, you know, that's nothing interesting. But seeing the courier escape there is really important. Oh, that's a spell prism.
It was definitely more important to follow that courier.
Yeah, if I'm Zeus, I don't know. Do I want? I feel like if I'm Zeus, I want the spell that I do want more of the spell damage and the debuff from the Timeless Relic, but my heart.
But lower
wants the
cooldown
spell
gives you
prism.
more spells, which means you do more spell damage.
I know, but it's probably better that the spells that he does get out do a little bit more damage and have that debuff duration. But that just means that the techies can get the spell prism. You know, the real carry of the team here. Being able to get those mines out more frequently, the big blast off jumps. So I feel that is.
Even though this Lina has Aegis, she's still blinking around in this mid lane to make it so that they just struggle to catch her at all. And she's just going to walk straight on up and just do so much damage to this Dazzle here. Going to be able to get the ult there, which will take him down. She's just going to chase down this Tiny. BKB,
I think this is it.
And I think this is going to be a dead Tiny here. There's the nice grave coming out from Fleur with the buyback. Should be able to keep this Tiny alive. This Broodmother is getting a little bit of trouble here as she's diving through, but she does have the BKB, so she'll be able to get out. Nice Yules there from the Death Prophet, saved her from the tiny trees, and this Lina's getting very low, but I'm not sure if it's going to be low enough. She's going to be able to take down the Dazzle for a second time. She's going to be able to take down the Sand King. She's going to be able to take down the Tiny, and she's only just now taken down by the Zeus, but she's going to respawn in 2 seconds, and most of her team is still behind her. This Techies is jumped in, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to be able to pick up a kill onto this Death Prophet and onto the Treant, which are both very good kills, and this Sand King and this Tiny are both alive, going after this Broodmother now, but she's going to be able to be taken down by the bombs, and Lena's going to be taken down by the Zeus, and it's just Peachy left. She's going to get chased down here by this Sand King. Stun comes out, and the kill is picked up there by the Tiny. Such a good start to the fight there for the Swans, but it all just started to fall apart when these buybacks came out, which is the danger of fighting in a base.
Yeah, they're hanging on by an absolute thread here. The only thing they've got left is they've got this ranged Rax that it's at less than half health. So you know, Megas is imminent, but at this point, all the Radiant can do is just focus on pushing as much as they can. They don't think they realize that all of the Dire have buybacks, but I'm not sure how inclined they would be to use it. Going back to that fight, seeing how long that Lina was able to be kept alive and just get all that damage out, a big part of that was just again down to this Treant just keeping the heals up constantly, just to keep her alive in the fight as long as humanly possible. And you know, I think that was the big difference in how they had to trade so much to be eventually, in terms of ways of buybacks, to eventually get that team wipe.
And this Tiny is flexing a little bit now. He's got DOTs in his inventory with a pair of power treads in his backpack. Not even sold them, just keeping them for later.
You can see the value in it. You can switch them out before the fight, and you've got a little bit more of the value in terms of that attack speed and a little bit more of the strength if you're so inclined.
The BKB on the Tiny to see if they can get this ranged Rax here, but it's not going to be enough. They're not going to be able to take it down. The Sand King's going to try and stay around here, but he's standing in a lot of magic damage here with the CM ult coming down. So be able to pick up the kill here, which is a dieback for the Sand King. This Fleur is in a little bit of trouble here because they know where she is and they're going to chase her down. He's going to use off the Oh, that was such an optimistic stuff there. Not quite enough. Not quite enough.
I think if she uses the Boots of Bearing first to be able to get that movement speed to buy time for the board trap.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think that Lina wanted blood and she was gonna get it.
No, meanwhile this Broodmother wants Rax.
She wants that final Rax and she's gonna be able to take it. We'll get the stun on from the Techies there, but she's just gonna turn onto this Techies. Nice tiny stun coming out. We'll be trying to get the tree volley through, but the BKB is coming out on both the Death Prophet and the Broodmother and the Lina. They're going to be doing a lot of damage here. The tiny is so low, but it's not quite low enough. And they're just going to start pushing through for this final tier 4 tower here. Going to be able to melt through it quite quickly with the Lina, but we'll get a Fortify coming out, trying to keep it alive for a little bit longer. Don't have Exorcism up, so we'll be a little bit slower taking buildings, but Lina is still just doing a lot of right-click damage here. Going to be able to near her onto this Zeus, but she will get E-bladed and tossed up into the air, and she doesn't have BKB to be kept alive by this Treant here. But Peachy's taken down, and that won't matter at all because the Swans, they're going to get a kill onto this Tiny, onto this Techies, both without point. And the Lina, she will use the last bit of her life to get a kill onto the Zeus here. He does have buyback, so does Techies, but so does Lina. She's going to BOT back in, and she wants another kill on this Zeus. Nice grave coming out there from Fleur. I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep this Zeus alive. He will get a lot of heal there from the fountain. But this Lina, she is unstoppable. She'll get another kill there onto the Dazzle. And then finally turn her attention to the Ancient. GG.
What a game. That was a treat. I was, really competitive, even with the massive net worth lead that the Swans eventually had with that 16k net worth lead. The Goats, almost at all times, were still able to make that look really competitive, and I think that they should be pleased that game was as even as it was. Look, 43-45. That was just really good from both of them. And look at the sports personship again with all the GGs in the post-match lobby. Oh, if only my pubs were that polite.
Yes, what a fantastic way to end the day here with we said we wanted an even game. We said we wanted a close match, and I don't know how you could get much closer than that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. We've been kind of waiting for a game that was that kind of close and could have gone either way throughout its entirety, and this was the one where we got it. And I think that the Swans quite clearly, they had quite a lot of good coordination with the build from the way that the Broodmother was building, along with the tree, and just really focusing on getting all that sustained so that this Lina could just pop off and just kill everybody. Is really much quite clearly was the Lina show. If you look at the stats after that game, 36-8 on this Lina, just far and above everybody else there.
Yeah, and 600 last hits. If we have a little bit of look through at this damage, 100,000 hero damage. That's insane. And to be fair, we take a look at the Zeus as well. Did 98,000 damage here, and this Tiny, he wasn't, a weakling. It's a 50k hero damage there alone. I think that there was so much damage that came out from the Goats here, and it's more that the damage was quite evenly spread around the whole team. Whereas if you look at the Swans, it is the Lina show. Yeah, the Broodmother, she did a lot. And a lot of this hero damage will come from the fact that she was very persistent in these fights. She was not giving up her life very easily. But it's all Lina, and it was for a lot of that game, and it was incredible to watch, and it really did feel at points that it could be anyone's game, and I love watching matches like that.
Yeah, in particular, I was really impressed. Was really impressed again with the Ashe Techies and the Fleur Dazzle. Not that I'm even slightly biased, but some of the saves, was able to turn around some of those fights just by being able to keep the Zeus alive and be able to turn around that fight that went back and forth in the in the mid lane in various parts where it was largely, both teams using all of their abilities to keep each other alive, and that's the Dota I've want. That's the Dota I've wanted to see, where it could go either way the entire time. I'm really pleased that that's one of the games that you and I got to watch today, Kit.
Yes, so that was exactly what we wanted to see, and I'm really, really happy that we not only finally got to see the Swans in action, but got to see them with this showing as well. What a game, and what a way to end our penultimate week.
Yeah, how are we going to top that?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but let's take a little bit of a look at what is coming up next week. So, in terms of matches, we have, well, I appear to have the wrong assets loaded up. But in terms of matches, we have the Swans versus the Ponies, the Goats versus the Puffins, and the Pirates versus the Dragons. Now, I'm not entirely sure how the Ponies versus the Pirates game went, but I know that off stream in game 1, the Swans did take on the Pirates, and unfortunately, that was their first loss of the season for the Swans. So the Pirates currently remain undefeated, so we can probably expect to see them at the top of the table next week, with the Swans in a close second. But I think when we get a little bit further down, that's where things get quite exciting, because we've got a nice varied mix going up there, and I think next week's matches could be very telling for our middle of the pack teams.
Yeah, it's just going to be about just trying to get secure as much of that prize pool as you can at this point, and just learn as much as you can from each of the games as well. And because who knows, if depending on what happens with the leagues next season, if some of these teams decide to stay together and keep playing together, they may find by learning sort of more about their kind of dynamics and being able to get something from playing against these teams, and just learning more about each other as well as themselves. You learn more about how you are as a player by playing a lot with the same kind of people, because you realize where you fit in that kind of dynamic.
Yes, and I think that the next season could be very exciting as well, but we will have to see the conclusion of our first one before we can even start thinking that far ahead. So hopefully you will come and join us all next week, where we finally get to see who's going to come out on top and where everyone is going to place.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to doing this with you again. And I just hope that we get to be along for the next ride as well as this one. And we're all gonna just keep on getting better at this little video game that we call Defense of the Ancients 2.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this week. We hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Looking forward to it, everyone, and look after yourselves.